The most important reason to do this now is because the conditions for these plants have changed. So in my opinion, these moss balls are not only really cheap, they're also really easy to assemble, disassemble, extend, chop, and you can adapt it to in many different ways. Welcome back to Content Growing. I'm David. Today we're going to tackle the big one, Philodendron Gloriosum. This is not it. Now, the reason that I'm showing you the Choco Empress is because I ran out of backings for the moss balls and I needed a little backup. So, voila. So I got this one out. This one is, if you can see, a little different than the other ones. It's a little deeper. This is actually a gutter that you can find at the big box store. It can be used as well as the others. I believe this is the deepest of the settings that I do, but because the Gloriosum that I have is quite large, there's actually more than 2 plants in there, and I don't want to mess with the root system because this is probably the 5th or the 6th that I try. They don't like me. But let me show you the last attempt because the other ones are completely gone. So the last attempt, I have a little chunk in a grow box, but it has a little blanky leaf. It's nothing to show for. But this was my last attempt to it. The Gloriosum is a crawler or a clamping style growth of Philodendron, and you can see here even that this has rot. For example, right here, this is not. So I'm probably gonna just chop this and put it in the grow box because it's not looking good in here. So let's start with that. This one is firm, but from this node down is not. So I'm gonna cut it right here in the middle and make sure that is healthy. This one is good all the way to it. So I don't know if I should leave it here because it looks like it's having a new growth right there. So I'm gonna leave it there. I'm not gonna mess with that one. Now this one is rot, not all the way, it just rotted like here in the middle. So these 2 knots have rot, see, completely, and not so much of the roots. This is part of the soil, but there's a little bit of rotting in the root system. Yeah, there's definitely rotting in the root system here. But there's growth coming in from behind, if you see that. So the middle was rotten. I'm gonna cut it right before that knot, and I'm gonna show you. There's a little bit of rot right there, so I'm gonna clear that up as well. And this is a very chunky mix, so I don't know. I found that they are quite finicky. So what I'm gonna do is just add a little bit of my powder in here to callus the cut, and on here. So I let this callus while I attend to the bigger one. But you can see the cut right here is actually healthy. So I'm just gonna give it room for it to callus. Wish for the best. All right, so this is compost. And now I'm gonna show you the last one I found. I fell for it because I don't like the idea of the crawler. They take too much space. Gloriosums can get humongous as well. But this one was also already well grown, and it was set on a moss ball, tied up, one of those cheap moss balls. Let me show you. See, now it's beautiful, but I don't see any aerial roots or crawling roots getting to it. But the fact that they're already set up in this vertical pattern, I want to take advantage of that, and maybe I can succeed with it without messing too much with the root system or anything. It's looking one of those fibrous mixes that I actually hate, just like the Ability was, probably because it's from the same grower. So first and foremost, let's check the base. Having a new leaf coming up here. The moss ball is over here, but this is growing this way. So I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna place this moss. This is a good thing that when it has perlite, you can just smack it around, and the perlite will start to like come off first. So then the rest of it will crumble easier. And this is officially my last attempt to the Gloriosum.
Later.
In the next episode, I am going to do a moss ball maintenance episode that is going to have philodendrons in them, but it's going to have monsteras, it's going to have syngoniums and epipremnums. They're going to be possibly a chop and extend. And now let me repeat myself what I said in other videos. The most important reason to do this now is because the conditions for these plants have changed. There is no longer in an environment where this growing medium is ideal. My growing conditions is not a greenhouse, and it's not scheduled watering and scheduled nourishment and perfect lighting. Mine is outside. At the beginning when I first got it, it was still under 60 degrees. I kept it inside, but as soon as the temperature rise to be consistently above 60, I brought it outside. Because if you can see, we have two main plants, and you can see that these are will be the aerial roots, and this is actually the way that the plant it should grow. But it's been staying like this. I'm afraid that if I stick it completely like this, it's gonna throw a fit, because I'm taking this out and I'm not gonna even try to separate them. And I also been keeping it on the dry side, because as you see with the previous setup, in that chunkier of a mix and everything, they still are easy to rot. I'm gonna put in a little bit of an incline like this and put the moss ball right here. So maybe we'll start climbing from there. The good thing was like there was basically like no breakage. I still, when I use some of my cinnamon powder on it, a little bit of a base, DE, diatomaceous earth, a pinch of inoculant, mycorrhizae, a pinch of slow release fertilizer, and earthworm castings. Like I've shown before in the other videos, I'm gonna add some slow release fertilizer. So I got a couple of cable ties. So in my opinion, these moss balls are not only really cheap in comparison with like others that are in the market, but there's another gutter. They're also really easy to assemble, disassemble, extend, chop, and you can adapt it to in many different ways. Give this a lot more incline because of the setting that we're making right now, but I want to make sure that the moss ball is all the way in the bottom of the container. And then I'm gonna add a little bit more of mix. Now I'm gonna fill the back of the moss ball. So can you see there? I arrange it. I can accommodate the root system on it. But before I do that, DE, mycorrhizae, earthworm castings, and slow release fertilizer. And pray for me. Pray for this Gloriosum so he makes it. If you have any questions or suggestions, please drop them down below, and I will reply to you as soon as I can. The small particle amendments in the 90% level, I'm going to add them now, and then I'm going to smug the pot so those fall down into the root system. I just want the top of the plant to just barely lean on the moss ball to notice the moisture and prolong to grow in that direction. Now what I have is some of the root system that was technically in the pot. They are on the side and they should not be uncovered. What I'll do with that is add some moss. But that's it. I'm just gonna give it a water now. Even that the moss is already pre-soaked in nutritious water, I just want to make sure that this moss is not on the stems. So what do you think? I'm gonna still put a stick here also in the front to keep the leaves facing forward. Will it work? Will it not? Let me know down in the comments. But more than anything, please subscribe. It means everything to me. And give me tips and suggestions. Drop a like, share with anyone that share our same interest. Thank you so much for sticking around. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you soon.